Hey there everyone, and welcome back to another video of me looking through some of the smaller game mechanics. This one is much shorter because I'm only talking about a very small number of things, stuff to do with skill runes. Now, the main reason why I'm making this video is so many people don't seem to realise that Flame Breath doesn't deal base damage. There are quite a few, well I say quite a few, there are 3 skill runes in the game which remove the base damage from the skill and just add elemental damage, or change it so it's just elemental damage. Now, I want to say quickly, I wrongfully said this about Icicle Splash. I think maybe initially it didn't do base damage, but anyway, it's confusing. The wording on it is slightly inconsistent. So that's the thing. When you look at skill runes, they have different wording, and that can then lead to, misconceptions. So on lots of them, say look at Forest Burst here, it says stun all enemies around you dealing additional nature damage. Then, if you look at Expel here, it's quite interesting because it does 2 hits, and it says it deals shadow damage on the first cast, plus then the base damage, plus shadow damage on the second hit. And then, most of them say like damage plus the elemental damage. So it says, see damage plus nature damage. Some of them say like in addition. So if we look here at the Storm Breath rune, it says breathe lightning damage at enemies, dealing an additional nature damage. That means it's going to do the base damage plus also the nature damage, as opposed to the Flame Breath where it says breathe flames, dealing fire damage. It doesn't mention the base damage, it doesn't say it's in addition, plus anything like that. Now, the confusing bit is that if you look at the description here, or actually on the hotbar if you read that description, these both mention the base damage. It says that it deals the base damage, and this is really confusing. The reason why they've done this is because when they changed these skills to go to level 99, the base damage, they want it to be displayed at all times in this section, because you can see it here on the next rank, but they want it to be said at all times in this description, as well as when you're scrolling over this description, for it to always say. However, this is really confusing because it's not actually dealt by Flame Breath. So, the only true descriptions are when you actually scroll over the specific skill rune, where it doesn't say the base damage. So I'll just go prove this now, obviously. Let's just do Storm Breath first. So this one says it does do base damage, and you'll see when I go over this, there's some base damage numbers in there as well as the nature. Then I will use Flame Breath, and there won't be any base damage numbers at all. All fire, all red, that's it. So that skill rune just doesn't do the base damage, and the thing about that is that there's no point getting this from level 10 to 99 if you're using this skill for Flame Breath, because all that does is increases the cooldown and the mana cost. The actual damage of the skill doesn't increase at all. So anyway, that's the one on the Wizard class. On Archer class, there are a couple of skill runes which have inconsistent writing, so I'm just going to show them now. It's the skill rune's Stonefall for Rain of Arrows. This one says an additional... Ooh. Okay, I need to hold on a second. Okay, I figured out. No, I was looking at Rain of Earth. I meant to look at Stonefall, that's it. So yeah, Stonefall, this is I would say a classic case of where too many people have been writing the descriptions for these skill runes and they haven't kept up the consistency. I mean, you've got like the additional damage, the plus damage, the bonus damage, and they all use all these different words and phrases. Now, Stonefall is a really, really old skill rune, and they obviously didn't check this properly. So it says Rain of Arrows deals nature damage and knocks down enemies. However, when you use it, you'll see it actually does the base damage anyway. So you can see base damage as well as the nature damage, and then the nature damage afterwards as that damage over time. There's that skill rune, the Rain of Stonefall, which has the wrong description, and then also all the Ballista runes, they do not say that they deal the base damage. I can't remember if it's all of them. No, so Holy Ballista says an additional light damage, so that says, as if it would do the base damage and the light damage, as it does. Then you look at Frost Turret, this doesn't say that it does the base damage, it just says deals water damage. The Bomb Turret, again, it just says it does fire damage, it doesn't say about the base. And Venom Turret, it just says it does the base. It just says it does the elemental, no base. Even if you look at the description here, it says it just deals the nature damage. However, when you actually come to use it, I need to put it on Why is it off actually? Oh, it's because I haven't actually got the skill. Got to be like resetting and doing different things. Okay, so yeah, if I use this, you'll see it does do the base damage and also the nature damage, as you can see there. So that's the same for all the skill runes. They all do the base damage. They just, some of them say that they don't. So yeah, whoever writes the Archer skill runes has messed up on those skill runes. Anyway, so then also there are a few on the Knight which are actually more interesting. There are 2 skill runes here which remove the base damage. The first one is Sparkling Gift. Again, it says on the description here that it does the base damage, but if you look at the skill rune, it says that it doesn't. And then the other one is Volcano Eruption. So Rumble normally deals a very small amount of damage and a stun. Volcano Eruption changes the skill completely, and it means that it doesn't do any base damage, it's just the fire. And it even says damage plus, but that's wrong. Oh yeah, I wrote down it's wrong. Yeah, so it actually says it does the base damage, however it doesn't. Anyway, it just turns it into a damage skill, and it's like all just a ton of fire. So anyway, I'll show these 2 skills now. So Sparkling Gift, you'll see it's just one hit of light damage, and that's what it does. It doesn't do the base damage at all. Then we've got Volcano Eruption, which you'll see it's all red numbers, all fire damage, and yeah, that's what it does. So it says that it should do base damage on that initial hit, but it doesn't. It just does fire. So yeah, that's actually completely wrong. But anyway, most of them kind of make sense when you kind of know how to look at it. And then yeah, that's it for those really. So that's hopefully that will clear up how some of these skill runes work, so that people know that there's no point getting this up to level 99 for extra attack damage if you're using Sparkling Gift. Not that you really would, but I mean if you're using Rumble full damage, you probably want it level 99, because that's actually pretty good for damage that way. However, if you're using it for damage, you'll probably be using the Volcano Eruption skill rune, which removes the base damage, which means you want the lower cooldown and lower mana cost. So yeah, anyway, it's better to know these things and to go down the right route. So the other thing that I want to mention in this video is to do with the Protector skill runes. So these were kind of, in the past these were bugged, and I found it really annoying because they were messed around with a bit. They worked sometimes, they didn't work other times. I've given them all a test now, and they all work, so that's brilliant. However, there are certain elements of them which don't work on some of the older ones. So the first skill rune, we'll go through them in order. There are only 3 different types of skill runes here. So the first one is Stone Skin. This one heals you as a... yeah, gives you a health per second. This one works fine. I'll just show this one now. So if you just get hurt a bit, and then you use Stone Skin, then they heal you up. So I'll use it now really. So yeah, it gives a small amount of health per second. It's not really that useful nowadays. Back when it came out, it was a good amount, so it really helped out. But now it's not very much. The next skill rune to look at is Light Protector and Explosive Aegis. These are both the same. They say that it does a burst of healing at the end of the 10 seconds, as well as some damage. But actually, they don't seem to heal you. They only do the damage. So it's also very confusing because they don't do it at the end of the 10 seconds. It's sort of a massive delay. So I'll put it on now, and then 10 seconds later, you'll see the animation ends. However, the damage comes out afterwards. So it should be ending fairly soon. Yep, there you go. Ah, the damage came out at the right time. Okay, cool. It worked how it's intended. Yeah, so sometimes it comes out a bit late. And then the third skill to look at is Death's Blessing and Water's Protection. These are both the same here, and the way they work is it gives your basic attacks a chance to heal you by 15% and deal some elemental damage around you, which is an awesome effect. People were very excited when they saw this. However, then it turned out to be kind of bugged. It wasn't working at all. It was sort of like every few uses of the skill it would work once. And then they buffed it so it was happening every few seconds, but then it stopped working. It was only if you were dual wielding or you weren't dual wielding. And anyway, they've now fixed it by the looks of things. So I'm currently dual wielding, and it's working right now. So hopefully this is how it works. So every few hits, you get that little blue effect going around you, and that will hit everything and do some water damage, which is pretty cool. It's very useful. It does quite good damage really for its kind of cost. So I will have to. Oh no, ice needles will confuse me. Okay, let's remove the Skurun. Just trying to juggle the enemies as well. So I'll just attack the boss here, and you'll see this blue effect will come out every few seconds, which will then deal damage to the nearby enemies. And yes, it's fairly consistent, nice damage as well. So a very good Skurun. You've got the shadow and the water versions of them. I'm just going to have to wait for cooldown to come off, and I'll show it one more time. The heal as well, that works properly. Like I was saying on the Light Protector and Explosive Aegis, neither of the heals work, which is really annoying. So anyway, I will. Yeah, you can see my health will go up each time that it actually procs, which it's not doing now. Yeah, there we go. And yeah, so the heal's working properly, the damage is working properly. It's great Skurun. Both those Skuruns are working. I actually moaned to Rumble saying that we need a proper Skurun for Protector because none of them work. But yeah, these two do work, so that's good. And they're actually really, really helpful for tanking because you get the nice damage reduction, and then also this is healing you a bit, so it's enough to kind of you know, keep you topped up. I've got no lifesteal on this this build right now, so that's what you saw there is no lifesteal, just the healing from that Skurun. So anyway, that's what I wanted to go through in this video. Thanks very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. I will see you in the next one.